Namaste. Good morning to everyone. I'm Krishna Bhargavi, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of CSE GRIET. In today's session, let us discuss about the database system structure. We also call it to be the architecture of database. The learning objectives of today's session are: you will be able to annotate the different components of database system structure. Also, you will be able to outline the architecture of the database systems. So let us understand what is the architecture of database. So being different users of the database, how you are accessing the data of the database, either you are a direct or indirect user, how you are implementing, how you are accessing your database. Let us try to understand that how internally the database system allows you to perform operations on it. So here database system structure, here I have accessed this diagram from fourth textbook, from the database system concepts fourth textbook 6th edition. You can refer to that textbook as well. I have got this diagram from it. So here from our previous session we understood that these four are the different users of our database. One is a naive user, second one application programmer, third one the sophisticated users or the data analysts, and fourth one the database administrator. So here the specialized user will not come into the picture because the specialized user will communicate only to specialized databases but not to the traditional database management system. So now let us understand how these four different users are communicating to our databases. Consider the naive user. We already understood in the previous session that naive user will communicate to the database only by making use of either mobile applications or the web interfaces. So here naive user is using the application interface to communicate with the database. So here this complete part, whatever is represented in those dotted lines, are the two major components of database. We call them to be query processor and storage manager. So here the naive user is communicating through the application interface to the database. Secondly, you have application programmer. We already understood application programmer is a user who develops the programs to communicate with the database. So the queries will be available in the programs written by him. So here the application programmers are writing the application programs. Then coming to the third set of users, the sophisticated users, they are not developing the programs. Instead, they are making use of the query tools to write their queries. Then the database administrator, to perform all different responsibilities, he will be making use of the administration tools. So these are the four different things that different users will use. So now how do the application programs or interfaces or query tools or administration tools communicate with the database? So as I already told you, these two boxes are the two major components of database. So directly whatever user is providing you will be first given to the first component of database system called as query processor. So here from the application interface, as an interface is being used by the end user, it is not in the test case. The program is already developed, already the object code is obtained, and from the object code you are working in the form of an application. So here if you are considering the application interfaces, they will be providing the inputs like whatever product they have chosen from Amazon site or their banking credentials. All these will be provided as input to this object code. Then the application programs. So whenever you have a program developed, first of all we will have to check whether the program is having any syntactical errors. Does it need to link to any other libraries or header files? So that must happen. So here from the application programs are given to compiler of respective developed languages, whatever they are, and they also link to the header files and libraries needed. So when once the program is compiled successfully, you will get the object code. Similarly, in your program, there could be some DML operations also included. As I already told you, to communicate with the database, these application programmers have to embed SQL statements in the program itself. So the DML queries are given to the component of query processor called as DML queries, from which again these set of queries that are extracted from the application program are given to the DML compiler and organizer. So here what is happening, from the compiler and linker we are separating the DML queries and providing here. From the application program's object code where we have successfully compiled object code, these two are provided to the DML queries. So here in DML queries you are organizing them and providing to the DML compiler. So now what the DML compiler has to do? It has to check whether the table that you are trying to search is available in the database or not. So here from the DML compiler and organizer, it is providing the information, it is seeking the information from the data dictionary. So whether the table is available or not, whether the attribute that you wanted to retrieve is available or not, all these things are checked here, and whether you are an authorized user is also checked from this data dictionary. If that is done, your query is properly organized and is passed to the query evaluation engine. So from the query evaluation engine, it is the one which is actually executing your query with the object code. Right. So then coming to the sophisticated user, as I already told you, he'll also make use of query tools. So using the command prompt, whatever commands that we give, whether it is an insert, update or delete statement, the query is given to DML query. Again, it is compiled. Compilation here means it will check for the authorization and availability of the tables or the data that we are trying to get. Also, it organizes the query according to the query evaluation engine and provides the information to the query evaluation engine for further execution. Then the fourth user, database administrator. He'll be making use of data administration tools, and here there are chances that the database administrator may also modify the data. So he'll be using DML queries, and whatever schema definitions and access method definitions that he is trying to modify are all applied on the structure of the database. So that is why here you have the database definition language interpreter. So DDL interpreter is available, so that the modifications are directly done on the schema of the database, not on the data. Clear? So these are the components of query processor, where object code is directly taken from application interface. If you are developing the program, you compile and link it to header files. Compiled code is in the object code form. Your queries are available in DML queries. Compile them and organize them. Give both as input to the query evaluation engine. Then sophisticated user will provide you the insert, update and delete statements, which are DML queries, and these will also be provided to the data dictionary to check for their authorization. Then the database administrator, he'll work only on the schema, so the DDL interpreter is used. So now the query evaluation engine will execute your query. Like if I say select star from employees, I wanted to retrieve all the details from the employees table. Where employees table is available? On the disk storage. So in order to access data from your hard disk, how does the database accesses it? So in order to access data from the hard disk, you will be making use of this storage manager. So again, in the storage manager, you have four major components. The first one is buffer manager, file manager, authorization and integrity manager, transaction manager. So if I wanted to retrieve all the records of employees table may be consisting of lakhs of records. So you cannot access all the records in a single stretch. So what you will have to do? You will have to buffer only certain number of records into the buffer space of RAM, and then you display that to the user. And internally you must make use of some swap space, where these set of records will be moved into the when once it is displayed to the user, the next set of records will be moved into the swap space, and then from that it will be given to the buffer. So here, by making use of this file manager, You will be able to identify the location of the files that you wanted to access from the hard disk. If they have any indexes, you will be checking it from these indices, and then after identifying the location, the file manager will give you the location ID of the file. Directly go to the data and obtain data into the buffer manager, and buffer manager will display that to the end user. Then coming to the authorization and integrity manager, as I already told you, in order to access the data or modify the data, authorization is very much important. As well, the transactions that we are performing must ensure that it is maintaining the integrity of the database. So it has to be consistent and all constraints must be satisfied. So where can you identify the constraints specified on the database? Obviously in the data dictionary. Where do I identify whether you are an authorized user or not? Again, that can also be identified on the data dictionary. So here the authorization and integrity manager will communicate to the data dictionary to check the constraints available, to check the list of users who can access the data. Then the transaction manager. In the previous session, we have already seen what are the properties that have to be satisfied when a transaction, when an operation is performed on the database. So all those properties will be ensured here by the transaction manager, which is having two more components internally called as failure recovery manager and concurrency control manager. So these two also I have discussed in the previous session. Please have a look on that video too. So here you have one more thing called as a statistical data. So this statistical data is required to ensure how many queries are executed, how much time they have taken, how many records are given, all the statistics will be maintained here. So this in total is providing you the architecture of the database system. So if there is a simple single query to be executed, that has to be taken these many pains to give you the result. Right, it has to go through the query processor, and the query processor will again communicate to the storage manager, and the storage manager will communicate to the disk storage. Hope you understood the structure of database systems and what are the various components and what is the purpose of each individual component. Thank you.